Good day, ma'am. I am Jovel Sagusay from BCHM 3B, and this is my chapter 14 entitled Insurance Law. So before we proceed to the report, here's a list of the learning objectives. So the first one is to enumerate the items that can be insured by the tourism establishment. Second is to identify the rationale behind the concept of the insurance. And third, explain the different kinds of insurance. And lastly, identify the advantages and disadvantages of having insurance. So, what is insurance? So, insurance is a very useful for our companies engaged in the tourism industry because there are many kinds of risks in enterprises where the investment oftentimes is quite substantial. By way of example, an employer may subscribe to a group insurance of his employees as part of its employee benefits program. Companies utilize building structures for the operation of their hotels, restaurants, and other tourism-related establishments may think of investing in property insurance against fire or earthquake to protect their investment. Lastly, an investment is a marine insurance. Usual practice among companies engaged in the transportation of cargoes at sea may also be worth looking at insurance contract that governed by the insurance law or the Presidential Decree 61-2 which institute the insurance code now referred to as Presidential Decree 1460. In case of the latter deficiency, the provision of the Civil Code of the Philippines govern. So, first is the definition and concept. So, in Section 2, a contract of insurance is an agreement whereby one undertakes for a consideration to identify another against loss, damage, or liability arising from the unknown or contingent event. So, discussion of the law, the essential elements of the insurance contract are: first is the insurable interest, second, existence of risk, third, assumption of such risk by the insurer, fourth is said assumption being part of the general scheme to distribute actual losses among their bearers similar risk, and lastly, payment of premium. Next is the characteristic of the insurance contract are include: first is aleatory or aleatory is this is an element of risk. An aleatory contract is one of where the obligation depends upon the occurrence of an uncertain event, as in the case of fire insurance, or uncertain to happen but an indeterminate time, death of life, or insurance. The second is the contract of entity. So this is an exchange of value or for value, particularly in property insurance. Third is the one ruse, or this is the valuable consideration given or payment of premium. Then next is the bilateral, or both parties are bound to the something. Then lastly is the formal, as the forum as the policy is required to be issued and the premium must be paid. Next is the parties in an insurance contract are. So first is the insurer. So a person or partnership, association, or corporation duly authorized to transact an insurance business. Next is insured. So a person with an insurable interest who stands to benefit from a policy of insurance. It is strict sense in insurer party in the owner of the purchaser of the policy, even through the benefits of the insurance may accrue to something else. Next is the beneficiary. So a person designated by the term of the policy to receive the proceeds of the insurance policy upon happening of the event insured against. It is the person named in an insurance policy as one of the received proceeds or benefit occurring thereunder. Next is the insurance contract may refer to the following. So first one is life insurance and insurance of human lives are insurance appertaining thereto or connected therewith. Second is the fire insurance. So fire insurance would include loss by fire, lightning, windstorm, tornado or earthquake and other allied risks when such risks are covered by the intention to the fire insurance policy or under separate policies. Second is the marine insurance. So a marine insurance is a contract whereby one for a consideration agrees to identify another for the loss of damage on a certain interest subject to marine risk by certain peril of sea or specified casualties during a voyage for fixed period. Next is the personal accident insurance. So, personal accident insurance is an which provides pecuniary compensation for expenses or losses of income both about by death or bodily injury arising from violent, external, visible, and accidental means. So, an insurance contract is considered as a contract of adhesion in which almost of the all provisions have been drafted only by one party, usually the insurance company. So the only participation of the other party is the signing of his signature of the adhesion. In regard, such a contract are to be construed liberally in favor of the insurer and strictly against the insurer in resolving an ambiguities against the latter. Next is the insurable interest. So, in Section 10, every person has the insurable interest in life and health. So, an insurable interest is the relationship with the person or things that will support the insurance of insurance policy. A person is usually regarded as having an insurable interest in the subject matter insured with he will derive pecuniary benefits or advantages from the provision or the preservation, or will suffer pecuniary loss or damage from its destruction. So, insurable interest also is a property should exist not only on the date of execution of the contract or insurance but one of the date of the occurrence of risk insured against. On the other hand, insurable interest is an life and health of the person insured must exist when the insurance takes effect, but need to exist thereafter or when the loss occur. Next is the insurable interest in group insurance. So, any person so related to another either by a contract or commercial relation may lawfully procure insurance on the other life. Thus, the employer may insure the life of the employer and vice versa. So, a group of insurance is essentially a single insurance contract that provides coverage for many individuals. It provides life and health insurance coverage for employees of the employer. In order to validly claim benefits from group insurance, employees must be actively at work and must have complete and specified period of continuous employment. Otherwise, the insurable interest ceases. Next is the insurable interest in property. So, in property insurance, it is important that insurable interest must exist when the insurance take effect and when the loss occur. In marine insurance, the owner of the ship has in all cases an insurable interest in it, even when has been characterized by one who covenant to pay him in value in case of loss, provided that it's this case that insurer shall be liable for only the part of the loss which is insured cannot recover from the charterer. So, the measure of an insurable interest is the property in the extent to which the insured might be indemnified by loss of injury thereof. In a contract of property insurance that gives of the insured more than the identity against the actual loss of may be suffered by reason or the designated perils and policy which is contrary to law. Next is the beneficiaries. So, in Section 18, no contract or policy or insurance on property shall be enforceable except for the benefits of some person having an insurable interest in the property insured. And under the Section 19, an interest in the property insured must exist when the insurance take effect and when the loss occur, but needs not exist in the meantime, and the interest in the life of health of a person insured must exist when the insurance takes effect, but this not exist thereof or when the loss occur. So, in discussion of the law, a person cannot lawfully procure insurance on the life or another whose life he has no insurable interest. Hence, The assured must have an interest to preserve the life to be insured in spite of the insurance. In order that one of may have to insurable interest in the life of another, it must be one of those mentioned in Section 10 of the Insurance Code. This hold true where the employer, who is the titular or named insured, obtain insurance of life and health and its employee. Next is the marine insurance. In Section 99, marine insurance include first, insurance against loss or damages to a vessel, craft, aircraft, vehicles, goods, fees, cargoes, merchandise, effect, disbursement, profit, monies, securities, unchoosing in action, evidence or debt, valuable papers, patrimony, and dependent interest, and all other kinds of property and interest therein, in respect to, appertaining to or in the connection with any at all risk of peril of navigation, transit or transportation, or while being assembled, packed, crafted, baled, compressed by a similar prepared for shipment or while awaiting shipment, or during any delay storage, transshipment, or reshipment incident thereto include war risk, marine builders risk, and all personal property floater risk. So, in discussion of the law, the pace of peril of the sea or perils of the navigation includes only those casualties due to the unusual violence or extraordinary action of wind and wave, or to other extraordinary causes connected with navigation. So a loss which in the ordinary course of event result first is from the natural and invisible action of the sea. Second is from the ordinary wear of tear and of the ship. Third is from the negligent failure of the ship owner and provide the vessel with the proper equipment to convey the cargo under ordinary condition is not a peril of the sea. Such a loss is rather due to what is called as peril of the ship. In such a case, their insurer does not undertake to insure against peril from the ship. Next is the fire insurance. So in section 16.7, and use in this code, the term fire insurance shall include insurance against loss by fire, lightning, windstorm, tornado, or earthquake and other allied risks when such risks are covered by extension or fire insurance policy or under separate policies. So in discussion of the law, the fire insurance is essentially a contract or intermediately, or the fire insurance is only a hostile or not unfriendly fire in insured against. Under an open policy, the measure of indemnity is the actual loss of sustained and the burden it upon to insure to establishment an amount of such loss. Under the value of policy of fire insurance, the valuation of policy is conclusive between the parties. Next is the war risk insurance. So, what is war risk insurance? So, a war risk insurance is an insurance covering damage caused by act of war. It includes coverage for war, hijacking, and related perils. Insurers have intended to withdraw liability coverage for weapon of mass destruction or WMD. A subset of war risk insurance or WMD includes radioactive contamination or dirty bomb, electromagnetic pulse device or chemical biological weapon. So a coverage was subsequently provided as the full policy limit for a passenger liability but limited to a maximum of $500 or 500 million US dollar for all third-party injury and property damage. So in discussion of the law, some countries like the United States of America provide coverage while other does not. So the International Air Transportation Association or ITA has argued that airlines and countries does not provide coverage are at the competitive disadvantages. Under the Federal Aviation or Administration Program, insurance covers for passenger and third-party liabilities for U.S. airlines in approximately 570 passengers compared to almost of $3 outside for US. Next is the ITA policy. So in most jurisdictions include the European Union or EU rather, airlines are required by law to have a liability insurance include coverage of WMDs. Aircraft lease agreement also required coverage of war risk insurance. Since the use of WMD is directed against states, the ultimate responsibility for security of citizens rests with states. So, according to um, Estelito Madrid Jr., or the CEO of Pro-Life UK of the Philippines, he said that there are products that satisfy the protection and investment needs of the market. And that's all about my report of the chapter 14. Thank you.